Stephen Jules Radio Show.
After Australia Day, I did a short episode about my views on Australia Day previously as well, and why we need to continue to have Australia Day. It's very important that Australia Day remains in Australia and that we have sports on Australia Day. I think people are getting sick and tired of, all these. There's so much crap going on in the world. Man literally got told to leave a pub, I think it was in Melbourne, because he wore a Make America Great Again hat. And it was nothing to do with political motivation. Okay. It was nothing to provoke anyone. But yet, why would a pub decide to tell someone to leave because of wearing a Make America Great Again hat? Look, as this last 4 years have gone, what I've noticed in the Australian economy, and for this next federal election, Anthony Albanese's got to organise a date for it this year, is the cost of living has been the biggest problem for Australians out there. Whether Peter Dutton can get the economy back on track and the Australian economy back on track, well, that's going to take some work from him. I've said it before that everyone in Australia has a right to free education. Everyone has a right to have all their HECS debts waived, I think, because education is one of the best things. And investing in yourself, of course, I believe all Australians should have the right to go to universities, disability, non-disability. To study at a tertiary level is such a blessing to have. Like myself, I've got a music degree, and it's good to. It's basically good to have an education behind you. So I believe education is the best thing that we can have. But obviously inflation has happened. Okay. Now, it has been challenging for us. 4 years, cost of living crisis, people unhappy with the current Prime Minister, of course. Whether the Reserve Bank of Australia decides to put interest rates down, put interest rates up, because they was up at 5%, it was about 2 years ago. It hit 5% inflation. Inflation sucks, to be honest with you. If they got the annual rate to 3.2%, well, that's a start. Originally, it was at 2 to 3%. That's the target for inflation. It definitely sucks for us, especially during a hot day. We've had some 40-degree weather, and there are families out there that can't afford to have the air conditioning on because of the power bill, and I can understand. You add electricity now in Australia, it has just gone up. Petrol, food, gas, water, all your utilities. My phone bill with Vodafone's gone up, and I didn't expect it. The problem we had with inflation was all this stuff was going up, but wages and pensions weren't. Streaming services have gone up in price. And that sucks. because people want to enjoy their entertainment, which they need. So clearly, Anthony Albanese has been. There's some stuff I'm not happy with how he's governed things. I thought he could have done a better job as a prime minister, focusing on Australians. Obviously, he didn't govern the country during when the pandemic first hit. Scott Morrison did. So if Labor had been in power, say if Labor was in power in 2020, how do you think the left would have handled the pandemic? I'll leave that to the listeners, and put it in the comments how you think. It doesn't matter left or right. How do you think governments did a good job in handling the pandemic? Vaccine mandates, healthcare workers having vaccine mandates, teachers, people are, I would say, getting fed up with COVID jabs, although I'm not a doctor, but I highly recommend you get it, especially low immunity, like myself. So however this federal election is going to become, it seems to me that net zero, wind farms, solar panels was the way to go under the left. And you got to understand, small businesses, cafes that have struggled, it's been really tough. Some have actually decided to just close or sell because it's just gotten way overpriced. Rental market is up as well. So I couldn't believe it. How did Australia get to this point, guys, where it's become such a shit fight just to get ahead? Now, how can, if the Liberals did get elected, how can they clean the mess up? Because I can understand why Peter Dutton wants to stand up for Australia Day. It's, yeah. And it's good. Like sport, for instance, Cricket Australia used to play. I don't know, when was the last time Cricket Australia had a one-dayer on Australia Day? It used to play. Cricket season used to finish at the end of February, didn't it? Now it's so much shorter. That's not up to me. That's Cricket Australia who have done that. And Cricket Australia, I think a couple of years ago, wanted to get involved in politics to not offend people playing cricket on Australia Day. So this is where it's become a mess everywhere. Now you got anti-Semitism, anti-Semitic attacks in Australia, people graffitiing Nazi swastikas, which is disgusting. And I can understand why the Chris Minns government is wanting to put it. It is quite serious, anti-Semitism, and it's going on. This is happening in Australia or a Western world, so these are all the challenges. Well, okay, the next Prime Minister has to deal with. Okay. Businesses closing. You've got Rivers. If anyone's shopped around, Rivers is going to close its doors. That's such a shame. That was the clothing store. How did it get to this point? Retail was retail store giving jobs to people. Now people have to lose their jobs. So unfortunately, yeah, we have to rely on the economy for just to get ahead. Now you've got King Charles. He's attended a commemoration service to mark the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the German Nazi concentration camp in Auschwitz. So it's good. I will pay my respects for the Holocaust survivors out there. How did these anti-Semitic attacks start in the first place? I don't know. Now, obviously, when COVID hit back in 2020, I can't remember it, March 2020, we were just, it was like we're living normally, and then bang, things just shut. Next day, everything shut, government shut down, and we know more about the virus than we did back in 2020. So, and if you wanted to create a Facebook page and share your thoughts or opinions about COVID back in March 2020, you were pretty much cancelled. Cancel culture. It was obviously true that Mark Zuckerberg did something with the algorithm on Facebook. All right. To cover up the truth, because people deserve to know what is going to happen. And yet Daniel Andrews in Melbourne was always on the media, always on the television. Just became a huge blame game for everyone. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if this pandemic was handled properly. Yeah, because it really stuffed everything up. Really stuffed everything up. Now, you got lefties in Hollywood that basically, you know, obviously Hollywood, California is run by the left. Yeah, you can't trust Hollywood guys, okay? Hollywood is a dump. Hollywood is literally a shithole. Okay. It's not a good place. The entertainment industry has always been exploiting people. Not good. Now, obviously, you've got Donald Trump, who's cracking down on deportation of people entering illegally, immigrants, as what the news media say it out to be. Problem was, and I saw on Instagram, Dr. Phil was, I think he was in Chicago with the police, and there was a illegal immigrant with a criminal record who did quite bad things that was in the country illegally, and he said, have you been deported before? So basically what's going on, and it's good that they have to deport people who have done serious crimes. Okay. Because it seems to me they enter the United States here too, and then they're getting everything for free, while people who are citizens have had to work very hard, and it's like we become slaves for our own nation. You look at the whole travel industry too, how much expensive traveling has become than it was. Obviously problems economically, and people don't have the money to spend to go on cruises or go on a nice holiday. That's economic. Yes, the COVID really did really hurt the economy bad. More than the 2008 global financial crisis. Okay. Apparently, Donald Trump's moving at least nearly 90,000 IRS agents that were previously under the Joe Biden administration to the border to patrol the area, armed with guns. Yeah, there's a serious problem going on in the whole world economy now. Obviously, you have tariffs going on too. Okay. And yeah. I just obviously wonder, when is it possible to get the economy back on track? Okay. Because inflation is caused by a lot of things, too much spending, not enough money going in. Seemed that taxes just went up way higher than predicted. Well, that's the problem. That's the challenges we have to face here in Australia. Okay. Australia's been having dingo attacks too. There was a toddler was attacked by a dingo on K'gari. It's a popular tourist destination in Queensland, Fraser Island, of course. Obviously, dingoes do attack. Rangers patrol the area to try and prevent them. Okay. So it's there was an incident where a 3-year-old child was bitten on the back of a leg by a dingo while walking along the beach near Kingfisher Bay on Saturday evening, quote Sky News Australia. People, have attempted to scare the dingo away, but it didn't move. Okay. And there was a woman as well, was attacked because she was trying to stop the dingo from taking her bag. So usually they are investigating what they can do next for the next steps. So yeah, some dingoes actually will target children. Okay, so it's very important to be careful. So visitors, they have been warned the risks of traveling to Kagari. Okay, so at least they're increasing the ranger patrols around the area. It's funny, Australia is full of a lot of things. Okay. A lot of things in Australia. There's been a health alert, guys, for measles around Western Sydney. There was a confirmed case that visited a medical clinic in Barala. Okay. It's highly infectious, highly contagious. Okay. The person apparently returned from Vietnam, but was not infectious on the flight. So there are parts of Southeast Asia at the moment that they're experiencing the measles outbreak in Vietnam. Okay. So at least the health authorities are telling people to keep up to date with their vaccinations if you can. That's very important. Usually the symptoms for the measles guys is fever. To look out for symptoms include fever, sore eyes, runny nose, and a cough. 3 to 4 days later, by a red rash, usually starts on the head and face, and it spreads to the rest of the body. So normally symptoms are taking 18 days to appear after exposure. Yeah, so obviously the health department will tell you if you feel you've got symptoms, you call before you go see your doctor, so you're not preventing it and spreading it. You're not spreading it to other people. Those are the health alerts that have come from the health department. It's always important to keep up to date with what's going on. There was another case where a woman was rushed into the ICU from anti-wrinkle treatment that she had. Cosmetic anti-wrinkle injections, okay? She's suffering a case of botulism. And so it's apparently unregulated anti-wrinkle treatment that was received in the Sydney home from a person for the last 2 weeks. So botulism, if I'm pronouncing it right, it's basically a poison caused by toxins, and it's attacking the body's nerves. Okay. So at the moment, the New South Wales Health Department is with the Healthcare Complaints Commission and New South Wales Police to investigate the matter further. Okay. Yeah, it's important. Look, obviously, I'm not here to give health advice, but you got to be careful of people who say they're qualified to give things, but if it's unregulated, stay away from the place. People could say that they're registered beauticians and all that, but obviously you have to be careful, because stuff like this is not good. All right. Now back to Donald Trump. Of course, he's planning to clean out the Gaza Strip and hopefully relocate Palestinians to nearby countries. This could be permanent, guys. This is what's going on in the Middle East. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this stuff's just gotten to a mess. Okay. It really has just become a mess out there. So it's like I said about vaccine fatigue as well. There's some suburbs in New South Wales that have vaccine fatigue. Okay. People just I would say it became, like I said, it was like a no jab, no play sort of thing. And yeah, it's our right to speak up against mandated vaccines. Yeah, that's how it is. We've had a heat wave, of course. Yesterday hit 41. Like I said before about power bill and air conditioning. I can't sleep on a hot night. Even if taking sleeping tablets, melatonin, whatever, I still do not get that nice deep sleep, 7 to 8 hours of deep sleep. And fortunately, the heat, there's nothing a medical professional can do about the heat. It will affect your sleep because the body needs a certain temperature to get a good night's sleep. So yeah, that's how it is as well. We had problems where neo-Nazis go on to stir up trouble as well. People who are into all this white supremacy, racist, honestly, just racist bastards. Okay. Stirring up trouble and basically doing Hitler signs. It's just, come on. This is just, are you for real? People do this stuff. Yeah, what can I say? Okay. And there's a lot of problems going on. All right. Really a lot of problems going on here. Here's the thing, guys, with electricity. These meters could be adding at least $800 to your power bill. So if anyone's using a meter, if you do, basically one-off hot day, and then you have to put the air conditioning on for, I don't know, 5-6 hours, because if it's 40 degrees. So basically you turn your air conditioning off. Well, of course, you turn it off when you leave the house. And then you come home, and then it's what? Your house is like, I don't know, a sauna. So then you have to put it on just to keep cool. So that's the thing that Australians are having to deal with at the moment. Power bills and stuff like that. There was Smile Direct Club. They've admitted to misleading customers. There was a case that was investigated by the ACCC. The ACCC commenced legal action in July. So they're looking to compensate people up to 26,300 people who paid about $3,000 each for online-only orthodontic services from May 2019 to October 2020, quote, Daily Telegraph. Yeah, Smile Direct Club, they've been in the federal court. They've admitted, the company admitted that emails were sent to 648 customers that were looking to deceive, okay? That were misleading. So basically, the Smile Direct wanting to have teledentistry to have coverage by health insurance in Australia, okay? They've had arrangement for the United States, Canada, and EU for the treatment. Yeah, I mean, healthcare providers should not be ripping people off in the first place or misleading, because obviously with healthcare you go to get you get treatment for a reason, and Australians need good quality healthcare here, not to be ripped off by cosmetics and misleading people, being misled. That's not good. Obviously, I will talk about dating apps quite a lot. Single man myself. Yeah, dating, I'd say it sucks. Dating apps. I wrote to Bumble. I was asking Bumble, general questions, what you need to ask. They still haven't gotten back to me. It's been like a month. So I start to worry about dating sites where if all they're caring about is just profit over people, because that's what it sounds to me. It's just become another way for the companies out there to make a profit. And yes, it seems to me they're not in it for people's long-term relationships. Okay. That's yeah, I just get fed up with it. Swipe left, swipe right with Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, Zoosk, OkCupid. Even dating apps too are shadow banning people. They do it in secrecy, of course. Yeah. See, I hate that anything done in secrecy, behind your back, shadow banning for no reason. God, I hate that. I really do. Hopefully New South Wales ambulance will get stab-proof vests, and they're looking to trial it, which would be good for safety for ambulance drivers out there after Stephen Tuffer passed away in Campbelltown. This happened in 2023. Now, safety is obviously the first priority for ambulance drivers out there. So if the government can help them with this stuff, it would be good for the health and safety and well-being of those frontline workers who put their lives at risk every day and night that they go out on shift. So that's it would be good if the government can help out with that stuff. Okay, it really would. It would make a difference. Anyway, the Australian cricket team is touring Sri Lanka at the moment. Now, why has the cricket season gotten shorter, and why is there not much Test cricket being played than there used to be? Now, we remember Phil Hughes, Shane Warne. Then you had the 2000, I think it was 2006, 2007 Ashes. It was Justin Langer, Shane Warne, Glenn McGrath, Damien Martin, who retired from cricket. Okay. The current the team the Australians have, they're in their 30s and up, so that they're getting past their prime. Okay. Now it's good to see that they're still able to perform at that high level later in age. Okay. Sam Constas, I think he's the youngest player to debut for Australia. I think he got dropped. So yeah, the Australian team should keep Sam Constas. He did well to get a 50 on his Test debut. So that's good. He plays for the Sydney Thunder as well. So I do believe that the team need him. Okay. And it would be good to keep Sam Constas in the side. Pat Cummins is on leave, so Steve, by what I've read, is Steve Smith is captain for the Australian cricket team. Okay. But definitely the Australian team needs more leg spin bowlers, of course. Todd Murphy's not sure if he'll be playing. I'd like to see Adam Zampa in the Test side. And Glenn Maxwell. I believe they'd be good Test cricketers. We need... Glenn Maxwell could bat up the order a bit. Adam Zampa as well could come and be a leg spinner. But that's up to Cricket Australia to decide. I just don't like it when... if sports out there... saying that they don't want to offend people because Australia Day is Australia Day. All right. Yeah, why is it for at least in the first time in 31 years, Australia is not playing cricket on Australia Day? Now, this probably clashes with the Big Bash final, the Australian Open tennis final. So why has it gotten to the point where television broadcasters are being told they can't mention the word Australia Day? Welcome to the Australia Day game like they used to. It used to be good. They used to have a one-day match on Australia Day. People like David Warner did very well to captain the Sydney Thunder to the final in the Big Bash. I actually went to watch the Challenger at the SCG. I thought that was great, and it was good on them for the Thunder to get a win and make it that far. Yeah, so hopefully we can see Steve Smith perform more well. I'd like to see Steve Smith bowling actually more leg spin. I think he'd be good if he's taken wickets as well. If he's not performing with the bat, he can take wickets for the team. That's important because leg spinners are good for the cricket team. They're the attack. Is it true that leg spinners win games as well? Apparently, Jeremy Clarkson's pub, Farmer's Dog, is in a disaster. Obviously, pubs have problems with overhead costs, council problems, farm, getting stock from farms. Yeah, you're looking at like, okay, £100 a day. All right, spent on the generator fuel. That's about 200 Australian. £400, $800 a week to keep people sitting on an outdoor terrace warm because it's cold, of course. £27,000, 54,000 Australian spent on parking and traffic marshals. Quote, keep the council off our back. Quote. Now, basically, yeah, all these hidden costs, is definitely hurting a lot of farmers. Apparently it's getting too stressful to run this place. So it seems to me the economy is not helping business owners, pub owners, because pubs have had to close during and restaurants too. Some have literally that don't exist. They've closed. They're gone. In Casula, you got the Crossroads Hotel. At least 33 million plans for an upgrade around there. You remember the Crossroads cluster back in 2020? And there was an infected person, and that became a huge cluster that got out to the whole media. All right. Yeah, it just goes to show that all these hidden costs for whatever it is, small businesses, all right, pubs, clubs, restaurants are really copping it hard, whereas corporations are not copping it. And that's not fair. That big corporations pay way less tax than a small business out there, all right? Now you got a fast food company called Wendy's that are looking to expand in Australia. Okay. But there could be fallbacks to Wendy's. All right. Now, Wendy's was established in Ohio in 1960, and I think there's at least 7,000 Wendy's worldwide. So I've never been to Wendy's. Okay. Okay. But apparently there was at least 11 stores in Australia more than 40 years ago, but they closed in the early 80s. Okay. So there's a lot of people questioning if Wendy's are going to do well in the current economic market. All right. I've never been to Wendy's, so I don't know. It was just interesting to point that out if you're into fast food. Okay. Here's an interesting point for you guys about Taylor Swift. Does Taylor Swift write all her own music? You know, Taylor Swift's written a lot of music, more than me. Has she? I think she has. I think her first album or single goes back to 2006. And then obviously she's grown so much in fame as well. And I would say, like, all artists start at the bottom and work their way up to the top. So it's interesting how Taylor Swift is very good at marketing herself for people. Okay. Yeah, I look forward to the future success of Taylor Swift and where she will go in the future. Yeah, when her last tour here of Sydney, New South Wales, I think she packed out Accor Stadium, but it sucks when it rains because there's no shelter, there's no roof on Accor Stadium. So yeah. Now, here's the thing about book publishing, all right, while I do this show. Could graphic novels, comics save the book publishing industry? Are more kids or adults reading graphic novels and comics than books? Now, when I was a kid, I really couldn't read comics. I just couldn't concentrate on comics. I would find my mind would just wander off or doze off. Even still, I'm not a big reader. Yes, I read journalism because part of my research for the show and what I'm going to talk about. But could comics and such a positive impact like graphic novels be saving the book publishing industry? I'll let you decide that. Put any comments you have in the comments section wherever you're listening and let me know. Okay. There was some sad news. John Sykes, who he played for Thin Lizzy and Whitesnake, he died at the age of 65. And it's always sad when a musician passes away in our industry. He began his career with the band Tigers of Pantang in the 80s. And he actually auditioned for Thin Lizzy while the band was making huge noise and getting popular. Yeah, so he's passed away. Okay. Splendor in the Grass. The music festival, guys, is being cancelled for a second year in a row. I remember talking about Splendor in the Grass quite a while ago. And Kylie Minogue apparently she was supposed to headline in last year's Splendor in the Grass. But you remember when we had all the rain and all the flood in 2022, 2021, when we had all that rain, floods as well, that does affect music festivals. So yeah, it is very sad when a music festival does get canned or cancelled and then they have to refund tickets, and the festival people who are organizing the event lose. They're actually in a loss because they lose a lot of money when things are cancelled. Recently, Bebe Rexha, she got axed by the label. She's a Grammy award-winning pop star. She's got at least 10 hits. So it always sucks when the record label sacks people. She's hired a new management team to help her on the right path to success. So that's that does happen, unfortunately, where the record label decides to drop you. And this is the problem. Okay, now I'm what's called an independent artist. I own all my work. My work is mine. I can do what I want with it. I can publish it where I want. I can remix it. The problem is when you start signing with a label, it becomes a bit like dictatorship. So basically, they have control over what you can and can't do with your stuff. So it's good and bad to both. I prefer to be independent because I would rather have success on my own terms. Yes, it's good when you have a company that have all the contacts with you, but I guess I'll ask this question to all the listeners who are independent and are just like me. Is slow and steady the best way to go? Does slow and steady win the race to success? Because people who get fame too fast, too quick, end up crashing and burning. Whereas if you're climbing the mountain slow and steady like Mount Everest, and then you hit the top, you can handle all the pressure to fame. And here's a question for everyone who publishes music. Why do you publish music? Okay. Why do you want to be famous? All right. And what is your end goal of publishing music? Good question, isn't it? Put it in the comments section when this episode is available and let me know. Chris Brown is launching a $500 million lawsuit. It's at least US 500 million, Australian 800 million against Warner Brothers. Okay, something's going on there. So yeah, you can read up about it if you'd like as well. This is what's going on in our music industry. There was a ceiling at in a Melbourne venue that collapsed at a Bad Omens concert. How did this happen? A ceiling just literally collapsed. They were the band Bad Omen were on the final track in their set. There was some confetti cannons that fired in the air and appeared to dislodge pieces of ceiling at Festival Hall, seemingly causing several tiles to fall onto the unsuspecting crowd before, quote, Daily Telegraph. Yeah, that sucks when that happens. How did that happen? Some people claim to have injuries and did get assessed as well. Okay. So some people did get hit by the debris. Yeah, no, guys, honestly, that sucks for that stuff to happen at a concert. Really does. All right. Not a good way to end your day. Recently there was a person who quit an American band after 30 years at least on the road. The founding member, it was the American rock band Bowling for Soup. Okay, quit the band after 30 years. So I think the band was at least founded in 1994. All right. Obviously, medical conditions have impacted because of touring non-stop, because that's how bands make their money, through touring constantly. Okay. Yeah, the health issues actually got Bernie off the road at least 6 months ago as well. Okay. I mean, that's what the road does. This is why you should listen to autobiographies by some musicians and see what life on the road is like. Killing Time by Jimmy Barnes is a good audio book about life on the road, going to the next gig, or when you guys are going home, they're driving all night to the next gig. Yeah, that's what life on the road is. Apparently there was a lost Tina Turner track that had an Aussie twist. Okay. It was a song apparently written by George Young and Harry Vanda, and that was recorded, quote, Tina Turner's classic album, and was found 40 years later, and it went lost. So it was the song Hot For You, Baby. It got recorded at Capitol Studios in Hollywood. So it was supposed to be a track on one of the albums, guys. Yeah, isn't that interesting? A lost song. Wow. That's interesting. It really is. You sort of get emotional about it. Yeah, Tina Turner died on May 23rd, 2023. She was 83. She had health issues, including cancer, stroke, and kidney failure. But imagine if one of that song did make the album. Yeah. Wow. How would have that impacted her future work? I think Billy Ray Cyrus, I think it was ex-girlfriend, fiance. She had concerns over the star. Um, yeah, look, apparently, Billy Ray Cyrus had malfunctioning equipment, and there was a disaster performance at the inauguration event for Donald Trump. Look, I don't know what's going on in celebrities' relationships. I don't really comment on celebrities' relationships, but I don't know if addiction gets involved, which is a sad thing, and it does happen. Yeah. If you guys can remember, I can remember as a kid Miley Cyrus, Hannah Montana. I think Miley Cyrus was on Joe Rogan, and at such a young age, she was working constantly, and all this fame so fast, and all this success so fast. It's weird how I don't understand people get famous so quick, but yet they can't handle it. That's weird. Yeah. Russell Crowe has picked Amy Shark for a role in her first movie. Okay. That's recently just come out into the press. There was an Aussie legend, Skyhooks guitarist, was had to cancel gigs because of a cancer diagnosis. This is sad because when musicians have to cancel gigs, they lose money. Bob Bonko Starkey was diagnosed with aggressive leukemia. Yeah, so this is sad. What's happening? So basically, a day after the diagnosis, Skyhooks they got back into the ARIA chart because of the 50th anniversary of Revered Living in the 70s album. So the album ended the ARIA Australian chart at number 6. Yeah, so that's what's happened. That is what has happened in the music industry. Okay. There was a Newtown Peter Thiele has passed away. He was an owner of a music store, Hum Music. He passed away at the age of 64. Very passionate about music. It was I think it was a record store in King Street. Now, yeah, Newtown community is standing by him as well, and he had a lot of knowledge about the music industry, and basically loved music and was very passionate about it. The National Art Gallery of Australia has acquired 9.8 million Paul Gauguin painting. Now, yeah, art is interesting. Obviously, art does impact me because my music is art. Wow, that's a lot of money for a painting, guys. Really a lot of money. Now, around the Macarthur area, the mayor is standing up for the neglect of the Macarthur area. They're looking to have a bullet train, actually, if they can. Bullet train stop built in a fast-growing region. So, quote, a Sydney mayor is pushing for the federal government to have a bullet train stop built in a fast-growing region. Says he is fed up with the region being overlooked, quote, Daily Telegraph. Sydney has, of course, had a huge population increase as well. Campbelltown in the future to be added for a high-speed rail line. So I can understand why the mayor is fed up of Campbelltown. Yeah. Not being looked after. Okay. So it's looking at connections to the Western Sydney Airport, the Illawarra line, Parramatta, the CBD as well. And hopefully the new metro line to extend to the Macarthur area. It would be nice if the whole of Australia had better public transport service, better infrastructure service, more public transport, especially for certain areas. That I can understand. I can understand. Now, aged care as well. There was a coroner who found there was 19 COVID deaths, okay, in aged care homes during COVID-19 with the coronial inquest. Anglicare villages as well, staff not properly trained. At least 19 residents around Kingswood near Penrith, they died contracting COVID 18th of April and the 20th of March in 2020. So the place was put into a lockdown after the outbreak. Yeah, this is they basically decided there was the inquest investigated that they treated people who tested positive to be positive residents they decided to, I think, keep them at the facility and not be taken to the hospital. Deputy Coroner Lee found, quote, that most residents who died could not have been saved. But apparently the deputy coroner has investigated that 6 of the 19 residents could have avoided the virus at least. Okay. Yeah, I guess if there was a royal commission into COVID, that would be good because it does need to be investigated. The Anglicare CEO, Steve Miller, was out in front of the coroner's court on Friday, and Anglicare has apologised from the outbreak. Now, obviously, we know more about the virus than we did back in 2020. Okay. So, yeah, that's how it is. Now, Peter Dutton has launched a campaign to try and get Australia back on track, the opposition leader. Now, he was a police officer and he was a small business owner. So I guess he's got the Australian economy's interests first. Now, can he fix the mess from the Anthony government? Peter Dutton is my question to Peter Dutton. So hopefully the Liberals can get Australia back on track. Now, he ran small businesses, employing at least 40 people. Okay. Strong economy is something that we need. But we got to get Australia back on track. And that's important. The coalition, it's going to take some time for Donald Trump and the coalition to clean up the mess. Okay. That's what's going to happen, and it's going to take time. Yeah, I'm getting fed up of people scamming people out there, crypto scams going around, identity theft, hacking, people stealing personal information, selling it on the black market. Okay. People impersonating celebrities like Elon Musk, I don't know, trying to sell cryptocurrency, people getting into cryptocurrency debates about crypto, Bitcoin, and all bullshit, and NFTs. I remember I looked into NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and as a creator, I thought this was just complicated as shit. I couldn't even open up a Bitcoin wallet because I was like, how the hell am I going to do this? People promising that you can be billionaires out of Bitcoin. I looked into Bitcoin. I think it's great. People have, but it just wasn't for me. If that's you, go for it with NFTs. Okay. SIM swap scams going on. Telstra, Optus, Vodafone, telcos are warned about it. I'm getting sick of this shit, honestly. Scammers sending text messages out to people saying that they're from the health department or they're from a doctor's surgery, spoofing people's phone numbers. Okay. The communication minister's warned, Paul Fletcher's warned, don't answer calls from numbers you don't know. I agree. Because now it's just getting to the point where I've had enough. I can remember it was quite a number of years ago. I got a cold. I I think I got a cold call from some guy in New Zealand. He calls me up one day. Because back then I used to answer the phone quite a fair bit. Now I'm pretty hesitant and careful about it. And he says, "Oh, what are you interested in?" "Oh, recording your call." I quickly hanged up on him. So I'm thinking, who's this? And how the hell are people getting your number? All right. It's, yeah. Basically, quote, for, if you get a call from a number that you don't know, then don't answer it, quote. Mr. Fletcher said, let it go to voicemail. If it's genuine, you call back, quote. Well, sometimes you get phone calls from, I don't know, someone in China or something, from Amazon scammers. I'm getting sick of it, all right? And the scammers are getting so good at spoofing people's numbers, and they make it look so legit. I mean, unfortunately we live in a day and age of technology devices, and people fall victim to it. Elderly people they target, especially using the word doctor. I've had text messages saying, "Oh, hi Benedict, you're NRMA, you have something from the NRMA, or you've got an appointment with Dr. Pham," because they know elderly people need the doctor. So it does worry me that, and even scammers were scamming, saying that they were from New South Wales Health as well. And they're impersonating government agencies like Centrelink, Medicare, with text messages, ATO, that you owe money to the ATO, child support. And a lot of fraudsters use this to prey on people. So these people have no empathy for Australians out there or anyone to impersonate these government departments and to scam people. It's just, I'm fed up with it. All right. Really just getting fed up because, yeah, I'm really over it, guys. Seriously. It's just starting to bug me. Parham Burjavet's True Water is in court at the moment. New South Wales Fair Trading investigating. I'm sick and tired of business owners out there or any companies that want to prey on people financially as well and rip people off and do a half-assed job and just to only care about profit and not about the customers. It's starting to really bug me lately. I'm sick of it. Okay. Also too, there's problems with Bomaderry Railway. Apparently there's upgrades needed. The independent member for Kiama, Gareth Ward. Oh, I don't know. You know, the Australian public transport system, okay, is, we need to improve it. Okay. It's, yeah. It's what it is. All right. We've got to improve a lot of things. As Peter Dutton says, we've got to get Australia back on track. We've got to get the economy back on track. Okay. Blackout fears, blackout problems, you know, we've had it too with Endeavour Energy. I think it was a year ago, 40-degree day, and then there's a blackout. Some people can't tolerate the heat. Heat stress. It's bad. It's dangerous, the heat. The heat kills. It really does. It is dangerous, the heat. Power grids possibly overloading, okay? Hundreds could be out without power during storms. That's not fair. The Ausgrid website reported Surrey Hills was the hardest hit area on Tuesday morning because apparently 424 customers didn't have power from midday because it was complex. It took them 12 hours to restore the electricity. Okay. Now, I don't know much about electricity, but definitely we need to, have air conditioning. Because the worst thing is trying to sleep in the nighttime is the worst. God, I hate that. That's horrible. All right. It really is horrible. I'm getting fed up to a builders not doing their jobs as well with there was roofs cracking as well in a southwest Sydney unit block in Cabramatta. Residents' roof fell. People couldn't go back in and get their stuff. People left homeless. How could this be? Why doesn't Strata do anything to fix it? People complain, have the right to complain. You rent, and then it's not done. Why? Okay. The Fairfield Mayor, Frank Carbone, is not worried about insurance hikes in Australia because of the Los Angeles fires. Now, that's not fair for insurance companies in Australia to put their premiums up because of overseas. What's happened? Can we trust insurance companies these days? Okay. Because I don't know. There's just a lot of problems going on now. Sirifong Ao of St. John's Park was jailed for scamming elderly people. See, I'm fed up with these fraudsters, honestly. I'm getting sick and tired of people preying on people financially. All right? And scaring people, especially using telephones and scaring people to pay money to scammers. I'm sick and tired of it. All right? I mean, enough's enough. Where have we gone here? I'm fed up. Seriously, guys, I am fed up with it. Okay? Look, AI, as we know, is taking over the world. China, ChatGPT, okay. I don't understand all the politics involved with AI, and it can be used for good and bad, okay? We know that, I don't know if TikTok will be banned in the United States or if TikTok's going to be banned in Australia. I don't use it. I hate it. Okay. There's been problems with the Labor government, illegal asylum seekers entering the country illegally. Okay. Getting permanent visas in less than 2 years. All right. Obviously, when Tony Abbott got elected as Prime Minister, he did stop the boats. So, yeah. Now, I believe too Australians should have free dental, or Medicare should be covering dental for adults and children. I think dentistry is important. Again, the cost of living does affect everything. So Medicare should be covering at least dental and stuff like that. I will support Medicare. I think Medicare is fantastic for us. And yeah, I think we should have gratitude for Medicare and be thankful for what we have here. Well, I'm going to leave it for tonight, guys. This is a great episode, great chat with yous, wherever you're listening. I do the live audio on Rumble. You can listen to the live audio before it gets published. Podcasts, they're available every Friday at 6 p.m. Sydney, Australia time. Okay. Yeah, please subscribe, because if you subscribe, it helps the show grow. Leave any comments in the comments section. And yeah, turn on your notifications. I've got a new single out that I've published called The Eye of Providence. You can listen to that on YouTube, Spotify, Tidal Music. You can purchase it on Bandcamp. You can even purchase my work on Motion Elements and Pond 5 as royalty free. I wish everyone all the best. Bye for now. Alright, thanks for listening to the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. I'm going to play Death of the Life. This was my first ever single I published in 2020, right at the start of the pandemic. So I hope you enjoy.